Okay, hello. This is my annotated clip of my 2-minute film opening scene. This is for question 1 of my CCR1. I just wanted to show what my genre was and answer these questions. So, for starters, the genre that I chose to focus on was a romantic comedy for this 2-minute opening scene. I chose romantic comedy because it's just what I know most about in the film, and I think you could see romantic comedy first by the title of my film. The title of my film is Bad Chem. Bad Chem is the title because the plot of my film is a girl who has to get tutored in chemistry by the boy that she literally hates, showing the common trope of enemies to lovers. I also think you could see that it's rom-com right off the bat because of that fast editing that I just showed in the video right there. Also, with the animation of the drawing title card, I wanted it to show like chalk on a whiteboard in a typical like old classroom chemistry setting. I just wanted it to be a cute animation, also to look cute to the public eye. And yeah, I think that's how you can see that that's a rom-com with the elements that I chose to use in the first few seconds. To continue, the typical conventions of my rom-com genre are close-ups for establishing feeling, expression, and high-key lighting for brightness. As you can see in this shot with the white background of the two boys, I chose to use the white background so that the shot was ultimately just brighter, and so that it looked brighter and more light, so that there were no darker colors, which there were a few shadows that slipped in there, but ultimately the white background was for that, which was part of the conventions in a rom-com. Another convention is just using bright colors and sounds for a lighthearted feel and making it more apparent for younger ages. You can't hear it in the video, but I had to mute it, but in my 2-minute film, I used Hot to Go by Chappell Roan, which is a very famous, very viral sound right now, which I incorporated to make it more appealing for younger ages and just for more people. A typical convention used in a rom-com is just using more viral sounds or colors to attract the younger media. Moving on, another typical convention used is the narrative. So rom-coms usually use certain tropes or themes like enemies to lovers, as seen right here. So I circled their faces right there when they're looking upset at each other, and in the shot right after they're laughing. So in the first shot, going back from when I circled it, you can see that they are just giving each other a dirty look, showing the enemy side, and in this shot that I'm erasing right now, you can see them laughing, showing the comedy side. Already giving a hint into what the common trope is for this rom-com, and letting you know that this is a rom-com before even getting into the depth of the film. Next, I think I did follow all the conventions of a rom-com. I really completely followed them by, first, like I said, using the popular trope, enemies to lovers, as well as keeping the lighthearted intentions, using bright colors to amplify the romedy themes with the title cards. So you're gonna see in a second, I went back in the video and I just underlined a bunch of the title cards that I used that were really brightly colored, and I actually used a comic book template for them because I wanted them to all be in the same formatting. Typically in rom-coms, the title cards are all either the same color, the same theme, or just like the same template. So for my title sequence, I decided to use a comic book type template, or like magazine, I guess you could say, type template for the title card because I just wanted it to look good to look at. Also, this is just a simple convention from rom-coms that most rom-coms used. So in each one I underlined, each one, as you can see, are different because I wanted each title card to be a little different, even though it was following the same kind of theme, as you can see, as I underlined. Next, as well as using high key lighting and all the conventions that I followed, some elements that I would like to go back and look at the conventions that I used, some reference points, were back to the enemies to lovers trope. So you're gonna see in a second, I went back to a picture that the actors actually sent me before filming this film, because the two protagonists that I chose to use to film are actually friends. So in this picture, you can see my actor Sam giving my actor Mia a dirty look, and Mia looks so happy to be there, posing for the picture. I drew a heart around it to show that the enemy side and the loving side is in one picture, kind of to show that trope. You can already see that they're gonna be friends or lovers, maybe. Then going on, this shot right here where they're bumping into each other shows that common enemies to lovers trope, which I really want to highlight most in the film. You can see them just bumping into each other, making that first connection, and this is before they had even known each other. And right before this, they had dialogue stating that they both had chemistry tutoring after school, that they were both dreading, and now they're bumping into each other, showing that they're going to be in chemistry tutoring together, and that they're already making enemies out of each other for the rest of the film. So this is just, again, giving another hint into the common trope. This is a very popular trope for rom-com, so I just wanted that popular trope to be highlighted in the film. Next, in this film, there is very high representation of older teens in social groups, so all of my actors are upperclassmen. I wrote junior for Stacy's side and senior for Alexandra's side, which were the names of not my actors, but my characters in my film. And then these two are both seniors, they're graduating this year, and I decided to use upperclassmen to represent in the film because I wanted it to just be a film for older teenagers. I didn't really want to attract younger scale middle schoolers, even though it is for ages 14 and higher, because it's not inappropriate for younger ages, but I just needed it to be for older teens to show that representation of growing up and what it's like as an upperclassman, and how it's shown. Another representation in this film is the representation of social classes in high school. So the one I chose to highlight was popularity versus unpopular. So I circled Mia, my character, or my actor Mia, in red to show that she's the outlier, and I circled my other character in pink to show that she's the popular character, to show that she's really in the mix. I drew a little versus title to show that they're automatically going against each other, even though that they are best friends. So in this little part that I showed, it was a clip of Alexandra, my character's dialogue, saying that she just really didn't want to go to the party that Stacy wanted to go to, already showing a kind of a divot in their relationship because Stacy's popular. She wants to go to all the popular parties, but Alexandra has no care in doing that. And then in this shot, which was just split screen, you can see Chase on the right and Luca on the left. Luca's my main protagonist. Chase is his best friend. Chase is throwing the party. You can see this stereotypical representation of popular. They're both athletic and popular and kind of mean, but everyone loves them. I circled the weightlifting sign in the background to show that they're coming from weightlifting, to show that they work out, to follow that typical, stereotypical kind of rom-com, any high school angsty teen film, that the popular kids are always the athletic boys, as well as a contrast with Stacy's character, when she's all in pink and she's pretty. That's a very stereotypical version of a popular girl in a teenage film. So yeah, that was just basically the representation of the social hierarchy, which is what I wanted it to be like, of high school, which was popular versus popular, and the older teenagers. Finally, for my film, I just really wanted the audience to either find a relation to this piece, feel deeply knowledgeable on what's going on, and just curious, wanting to watch more about it. Mostly in rom-coms, it's made for people to feel relatable and able to relate to the contents of the piece, which is why it's made for younger crowds, which is why I made it for upperclassmen. I want older kids to be able to watch this and be like, hey, I'm going through this right now. This is so relatable, and I'm so glad that I took my time to watch this film to really know that this is what it was about. Another thing is that I wanted the audiences to feel seen in high school. In high school, it's really hard to get lost, which is why I showed the representation of the different social classes. But in this shot here, despite the different social classes, despite the fact that my character Alexandra is an outlier and all the other characters are supposed to be popular in this piece, they're all friends and they're all coming together and they're all becoming that coming of age friend group in a typical movie setting. And I just really want the audience